Hi there again, Bearcats and Dragons. It's time to finish out your wonderful folk tales that you've been working so hard on these past few weeks. Today we're going to write out the end. I'm so excited for everyone to get a chance to conclude or end their amazing story. So when we're thinking about the end of our story, we want to make sure we're including the solution to the problem that we wrote in the middle and the moral, because that's the big part that helps our folktales and fables stand out from other kinds of stories. So we're going to include how our problem gets solved and the lesson or the moral that the character learns after that problem is solved. As always, don't forget to add that dialogue for your talking characters with your quotation marks, and you're going to get to type it up or write it out. So just like the last few lessons, we're going to take a look at our planning sheet to help us make sure we know where our story is going and what we want to include. The boxes you want to really focus on for this part of our story is the moral, of course. What is it that I wanted my characters to learn? The solution, how our problem that we wrote about yesterday gets solved. And of course, we planned out a basic idea of what happens at the end of our story, so make sure you're focused on that as well. I chose to type into the page provided. I was able to check back on these boxes over and over again as I was writing to make sure my story stayed on track. So we have our final page. It looks just like our beginning and our middle, our end. I did include that friendly reminder up here, include your solution and a moral, and show what your characters learned. I added a transition word for you, just like with the other pages. I chose to write finally. Again, just like with the beginning. If you don't want to write finally, if it makes more sense for you to add after that, next, or then instead of finally, that's your choice. It's your story. But you can always use finally if you want to start the ending of your story that way. So I typed in all of those things and the ending of my story with Grumpy Bear and Hummingbird. I wrote, finally, Grumpy Bear took a deep breath and said, "Maybe I could use some help. Hummingbird, will you please help me?" "I would love to," exclaimed Hummingbird. So the two friends worked together and helped each other build a swing set for them both to enjoy. Grumpy Bear looked at his friend and said, "From now on, I will ask for help when I need it." And the friends played together for the rest of the day. The end. What are some things you noticed about the end of my story? Let's take a look. Let's go up here and use this as a little checklist. Did I include a solution? Did the problem get solved? Yes, the problem got solved. They were able to build the swing set together. Did I show what a character learned? Absolutely. From now on, I will ask for help when I need it. There's Grumpy Bear in dialogue telling us, the readers, what he learned. Okay, so I included all the important parts that I needed for the end of my story. You can, again, type it up this way, or you can choose to write it out on some paper. This is the exact same as the page before. It's just one is typed up, and one I decided to practice my neat handwriting and write it out. Either way is perfect. So remember, as you're writing out the end of your story, include the solution, how the problem gets solved, the moral, the lesson the character learned. Use that dialogue like good writers do, and you have the choice if you'd like to type it up or write it out. I cannot wait to see how your stories end. Happy writing!